This lab is about configuration of port security. You can see for this topology we have two PC that is connected to a switch through interface FA01 and interface FA02. PC0 is configured with IP address 192.168.1.010 and PC1 is configured with IP address 192.168.1.20. Let's do a ping from PC0 to PC1 to ensure connectivity. We can see that there is reply from PC1, which means that the connectivity is there. Why do we need to configure port security on a switch interface? Basically, it's to prevent roach or unauthorized access through your network to create mayhem or do mischief on your network. As once they have access to your network, they can introduce all kind of malicious traffic through your network. And the switch does the port security by learning the MAC address of the PC and ensuring that another end devices with another set of MAC address doesn't let allowed traffic to flow through the switch. As the principal fundamental of how a switch functions is by forwarding traffic to the destination port which has been mapped to a specific MAC address. Let's start by going into the CLI of your switch, enable mode and configure terminal mode. Your global configuration mode. Let's go to interface FA02. By default, all switch ports come configured as dynamic mode, which means that they are allowed to negotiate automatically with the end devices to be whether they are on access mode, which is connected to end devices, or on trunk mode, which is connected to another networking devices for load of traffic to flow through. In this case, when we need to configure port security is always been configured on end devices port, which means that we will need to set a port to be on access mode. The command to use basically is switch port mode access. Then we follow on by configuring port security. The command basically is switch port security to enable the port security function, and followed by another few lines of function. The next line will be switch port security MAC address sticky. This line is basically to tell the switch to recognize the first MAC address that has been learned once the port has been connected to end devices such as a personal computer. Next command is switch port security maximum 1. This line basically is to specify that we want to ensure that the switch port will only learn one and only MAC address. For this command basically has a maximum of learning capability of 132 address, but in this case, because we want to prevent any other PC from being connected to the port, we will set it to a value of 1. The next command basically is switch port security violation shutdown. Basically, we want the switch to detect once it detects any other MAC address from the initial learned MAC address, it will actually shut down the port to prevent any unauthorized user from being connected to the switch to introduce malicious traffic. So after you have set these few lines of configuration or commands, we can start to test out. You can see that the initial topology, whereby we have the initial MAC address. Let's go back to the switch first. If you do a show run now, you can see that for interface FA02 there is no MAC address learned yet. Let's do a ping from PC0 to PC1 again. Okay, after the ping, okay, do a show run again. You can see that now the interface FA02 has successfully learned the MAC address 0001.C96A.0449, okay, which is actually the MAC address of PC1. Okay, we can see the MAC address by hovering over PC1. Okay, and you can see that the MAC address, okay, is 001 C96A0449. Okay, or you can go in, go to config. Okay, you can see the MAC address, which is exactly the same. So basically the switch has now learned the MAC address of PC1. Okay, and we can still ping from PC0 to PC1. We will now do a simulation, okay, by introducing a newly installed laptop. Okay, basically it's like a rough laptop which is going to be connected to the port interface FA02 to act like a hacker trying to connect to the new network. Let's wait for the port to be stabilized. With a new end devices, there is a new set of MAC address, and as I mentioned before, the switch has already learned the previous MAC address which is connected to PC1. So this new set of MAC address is going to force the port to be shut down, so as to prevent unauthorized connection to the network. You can see that the link has gone up. Let's try to introduce some traffic by doing a ping to PC1. You can see that straight away the link becomes red. It means that, okay, the port has successfully been shut down automatically by the switch due to unauthorized access. Let's look at the port status now by doing a show interface FA02. Okay, you can see that the interface is now down, live protocol is down, and it's been error disabled. By looking at this statement, we know that the switch has successfully shut down a port which has unauthorized connection. Let's resume connection to the initial PC1. You can see that the link is still down as the switch has already shut down the port. So if let's say we've detected some intruder and we have successfully mitigated the attack and we connect back the port to the original PC, how do we enable back the port? Basically by going into the switch, okay, back into the interface FA02. Okay, you will start off by doing a shutdown, then you disable by doing a no switch port security, and you enable back port security, and you do a no shutdown. Okay, and you will have successfully re-enabled back the interface, as you can see here. And this basically concludes how you configure port security on a switch, okay, as part of a security requirement.